So you've decided you're going to buy some real estate here in North Carolina, and maybe we met online, maybe you got referred to me. I'm not sure how we met, but we did, and congratulations, because I love helping people buy real estate. I'm Maureen Mahood, and I am the broker owner of Sell Your Home Charlotte here in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you're friends with me on any social media, you also know that I run a dog rescue. So if you like dogs, that's even better. If you don't like dogs, that's okay. We'll get through it. Anyway, so let's talk about the working with real estate disclosure. So there's a few ways that agents can work with you. And just because somebody hands you this disclosure and asks you to sign it doesn't mean you're working with them. So it doesn't mean you've hired me yet, okay? That's what we're going to talk about, buyer agency contracts in a minute in another video. But this is a disclosure, and this is from North Carolina Real Estate Commission, says that we need to go over this with every single person that we work with. So there's buyer agency, dual agency, designated agency, and unrepresented buyer. So you are right now an unrepresented buyer if you have not signed a buyer agency with anyone. So the agent that gave this to you has this little, check this little box, made you initial right down there, said unrepresented buyer, seller sub-agent. So the agent who gave you this form may assist you in your purchase, but will not be representing you and has no loyalty to you. So it's really not the best place to be. Now, I know some people want to represent themselves because maybe they think they're going to get a kickback or something and get a better price on the sale of the house. But what I would tell you is that I've already negotiated everything with the seller for commissions. So whatever commission that we aren't paying a buyer's rep will go to me, because I'm probably going to be doing double duty because you don't know what forms you need. You don't know anything. I'm just going to be basically walking you through it without representing you, only helping you fill out the correct forms, but always having my loyalty to the seller. So it's really not a good idea. So my recommendation always is hire an agent. You don't have to pay up front for an agent. So we've already negotiated in the MLS. If you choose something on the MLS, there is a little field that says buyer agent gets 3%, 2%, 2.5%, 7%, whatever it is. And that's already negotiated. Now, if the seller is not paying as much as what the buyer's agents want, then they can ask you to make up the difference into what they normally charge. But you don't see that as much out there, because sellers, especially now that houses are not flying off the market, understand that it's important for buyers to have representation, and they are not going to sell their house as easily if the buyer comes unrepresented or just doesn't come at all, because they would have to pay and they can't afford it. So the way it works is when you close on the house, the money that you bring for the mortgage or the cash or however you're buying the house goes to the seller. He pays off all his stuff, and then he or she has proceeds, and the contract says out of those proceeds is what we're going to pay the agents on. So it's a line item on your closing disclosures, and everybody knows what everybody's getting paid because that's the rule. Okay. So understand that it is in your best interest to have representation. Okay. So now that you've decided, hopefully you don't want to be an unrepresented buyer, let's talk about the other types of agency. We got buyer agency, we got dual agency, and we got designated agency. And so buyer agency means that you just want me as your agent and my firm. So if I am your buyer's agent and we do not do dual agency, that means no one else in my firm could have a listing that we go see. And sometimes that's unrealistic. So typically people will say, okay, dual agency is great. I'm fine with it as long as you don't represent both sides. So it could be like, I have you as a buyer agent and somebody else in my firm has a listing, then we can go see that, because that other agent's going to represent the listing person, the seller, and I'm going to represent you as the buyer. And we owe each of our clients, all the things, so that I work for you and they work for the seller. Now, there could be a position where we get into that is designated agency. So let's say I do have a listing and you want to see it, but you, the seller maybe, or you say, I don't really want you to do both sides. So I'm okay with you, agent, to give me or the seller, usually it's the seller who says this, I want you to give that buyer to somebody else in your office at your firm. So I would refer, or the agent will refer it out. So that's called designated agency. So sometimes the broker in charge, which I'm the broker in charge of my firm, can say, you two, no, we're not going to do that. I want you to designate, I'm going to designate this person to do the buyer side and you stick with the seller side, just because, there could be a lot of things that go into it. But anyway, so we got buyer agency, dual agency, designated agency, and the unrepresented buyer. So I hope this is clear. If it's not, certainly reach out to me. My phone numbers are down there, my phone number, my email, the website, whatever you want to do. And let me know if you have any questions. And again, I'm Maureen Mahood, broker owner of Sell Your Home Charlotte in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. And nobody sells Charlotte like we do.